no secret that I am absolutely obsessed with carbon fibre, carbon fibre, carbon fibre, carbon fibre, carbon fibre, carbon fibre, carbon fibre. Today I'm going to be turning my attention to Esther's cockpit. I've just chucked a load of silicone sealer on there, or another one of these. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't nervous about this. Made of carbon fibre. Carbon fibre, the carbon fibre sheet. Bit of butchery, doesn't hurt. Man, I love carbon fibre. Snapped a drill bit. Hello and welcome to this video. I'm Marcus Hayes, and today you join me from the cockpit of my beautiful girlfriend Kat's plastic Ford Fiesta that she likes to call Roger. Over the last few nights, I've been really struggling to sleep. I lay in bed and my body doesn't want to switch off until like 5 AM. But today I decided to try and break the pattern. So even though I fell asleep at 5 AM last night, I got up at 7 AM to give Kat a lift to work so that I then had use of her car today. Because as you know, if you've been watching my videos, Maud, my Mk1 Escort, is out of action. So I'm hoping that this evening I'm going to be so knackered after only having 2 hours sleep last night that I will be able to get to sleep at a sensible hour, and then yeah, hopefully I'll be in a more manageable routine. Anyway, today I'm heading over to the garage where I store my favourite car, Esther, the SD170 powered Mk1 Escort, and I'm going to be fitting the first of a whole mountain of parts that I've got for her. I've been spending so much money on her. I've got some parts that have already come. I've got some really cool parts that are yet to arrive. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to making my favourite car even better. Now, because it's so early in the morning, I'm going to have to contend with some rush hour traffic, but it is what it is. I'm going to stop off and get myself a McDonald's breakfast, and then I'll pick this video back up once I've got to the garage and I've got Esther out. So I'll see you in a sec. Well, the traffic was tragic, but I finally made it, and I've got Esther out of her garage. Now, it's no secret that I am absolutely obsessed with carbon fibre, and it's fair to say that this car is absolutely dripping with the stuff. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but I absolutely love it. So far, we've got carbon fibre bonnet fitted, carbon fibre grille, carbon fibre headlight surrounds, carbon fibre quarter bumpers and quarter bumper brackets. Got the carbon fibre front lip down there. And then around the back of the car, we've got the carbon fibre ducktail boot lid and the carbon fibre rear bumper and carbon fibre rear bumper brackets. Now, all the carbon fibre on this car, apart from the bumper brackets, were supplied by a guy called Gary, and I will leave his contact details in the description. If you need any carbon fibre for your car, I highly recommend you get in touch with Gary and do let him know that I sent you. I think I'm pretty much done with the carbon fibre, at least on the exterior. Although I do wish someone made the rear light surrounds in carbon. I'd love a carbon fuel cap. It'd be really cool if someone made carbon Mk1 Escort door handles. And it would also be really cool if someone made the bullet mirrors in carbon fibre. And there is a couple of bigger bits of carbon fibre that I might fit far into the future, but yeah, definitely not yet. Anyway, today I'm going to be turning my attention to Esther's cockpit. And as you can see, I've already removed some parts so you can tell what's going to be happening. But before we crack on with any of that, I want to have a look at Esther's doors, which are looking a bit unfinished. I'll just wind the window down to show you something that I did quite recently. Now, last year at some point, this thing here came off of the drop glass. This is the bit that basically attaches to the drop glass mechanism. Don't know what you'd call that. And basically, when I put it back on, I had it too far forward, which meant that when you wound the window down, this part here would actually line up with this sort of wider part at the edge, and the mechanism kept coming off of this bit. So recently I basically took this back off and I've put it back on, but more this way, and I just chucked a load of silicone sealer on there so that it won't come off again. Probably should have, you know, took the window out and give it a proper clean, but I didn't bother. I just, with the window in situ, I just filled that thing up with sealant and then put it back on. But to be honest, it didn't come off ever since I put it back on. Even without the sealant, it was just that this bit kept coming off. So yeah, that's all good. But as I say, the doors are looking very bare. So the first thing I want to crack on with today is fitting my brand new door cards. And I've also got some rear quarter cards which go on the inside of the rear quarters there. So here are the new door cards and rear quarter cards, obviously in carbon fibre, proper pre-preg carbon fibre. And I've gone with a gloss lacquer finish. Originally, I wanted to make all the interior carbon matte or satin, but when I spoke to Gary about it, he said if we do them in gloss lacquer, it'd be really easy to sand them with really fine sandpaper to make them matte. Whereas if I went with matte and then decided to go gloss later on, I would actually have to re-lacquer them. So yeah, we'll see how I get on with the gloss finish. But yeah, all I need to do is basically screw these to the doors and screw these to the inside of the rear quarters. The door ones are going to be a little bit tricky, and I'll explain why now. So to attach these to the doors is going to be no problem at all. I'm just going to use screws around the outside. But I do need to make holes in the door cards for the door opener and the winder, and also I need to make some holes for the handle to go back on, although I'm not going to be using the original handle, but I'll explain that later on. Now, I've been thinking about this a lot, how I'm going to do this. I was kind of thinking that I could maybe mark on the door whereabouts these are. Maybe just put some masking tape here and a dot, and then sort of measure down and then write on there how many millimeters from that dot down this one is, and then similar thing with this. Let's take that off. But I'm actually thinking that I might just somehow get a mark from these on the back, maybe put some tape and then just make an impression. So yeah, that might be the way, rather than stripping the whole door. And then once I've done one, I can use that as a template on the other side. And I'll be able to put it on sort of backwards just to check that these are exactly the same on the other side as this side. So yeah, once I've done one, the other one will be really easy. And the rear quarter ones, literally just drill the holes and screw them on. I have to put some paint on there. Now obviously if I had the original door cards, I could have used them as a template, but I sold them years ago. I've got one mark for the door opener, but the other bit of tape's too low. There we go. Bought another one of these drill and impact gun sets the other day. Well, it's not really an impact gun because it's a small one. But yeah, now I've got these here and my garage at home, and this kit actually came with these really big batteries. It came with 3 of them. So yeah, I've got 2 of those here, and then the other one I've left at home with the other tools, along with the 2 smaller batteries that I already had. Yeah, first time out for this new drill. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't nervous about this, but ultimately I can make the hole bigger than it needs to be, and the winder and the opener will hide the hole anyway. So sometimes you just got to send it. Just going to go ahead now and enlarge those holes. Now I can drill through the front, but I'm just going to put a bit of tape on there. Hopefully we'll stop the lacquer getting destroyed. Alright, here comes the moment of truth. I'm so nervous. It's quite a bit out. Go forward on this one a lot, backwards on this one slightly. Couple more tweaks. I think I need to allow this little shoulder here to poke through. So yeah, just need to grind this hole out a little bit more down the bottom right corner of that hole. But this is definitely going a lot better than I feared. So I've enlarged both holes quite a bit more, just so that I've got plenty of adjustment. I can like choose the position. Yeah, I think now I just need to mark and drill the holes around the outside. I'm probably going to do 4 along the top, and then 1, 2, 3 down each side, and then 4 along the bottom. The screws are going to have to be right at the very edge, just so they're not where these are. Alright, Right, so it's kind of on. I have made a couple of mistakes. This hole here, you know, behind there isn't actually a flat bit. That's the recess for the door opener bit. And this hole over here was very close to a hole that was already in the door. I'll just show you what I mean on the other door. So yeah, that hole comes right here, below this bit. And the other hole I was on about is very close to this one. But we'll make it work somehow. I also forgot to drill the hole here in the door card, so I obviously haven't drilled that one in the door either. My energy levels are fading fast, seeing as I only had 2 hours sleep last night. But I'm going to carry on for a little bit longer. But what I want to show you now is the door handles that I'm going to be using inside. And yep, you've guessed it, they're made of carbon fibre. I got these from GARRY as well. And if I just line it up with the passenger door, so these are the 2 holes that the original handle was using. And you'll see that if I was to use those 2 holes, the holes that I drill in this would have to be right close to that crease. So I'm probably going to make my own holes for these. So I think I'm going to take this door card off now and at least see if I can get this handle situated before I leave here today. All right, so as it turns out, these doors are slightly different. On this one, you've got the speed clips, and on this one, you've got these square sort of nut things. I just sat in the passenger seat and sort of tried to see where would be an ideal position for this handle. It seems like it would be better forward than it would be back. So I think I'm going to mount them something like that. I'm just going to put these holes roughly centre of this square. I basically put the screws in this way and put a couple of washers there to space it away, and I put a load of paint on the heads of those screws, and we've now got very clear marks where to drill those holes. I can show you now what I was on about earlier. You can see that this hole is very close to this one. When I mentioned it earlier, I mistakenly thought it was near this hole, but yeah, you can see it's near there, but it still works. And then this one, you can see where a drill bit has marked it, but it's not on the flat bit. But I could probably drill that and then just have the screw in at a slight angle. So that's not a big deal. I'm really running out of energy, so I've got to call it a day and go home. But yeah, all the hard work has been done. The passenger side one will be really easy now because, as I say, I've got a template, and the rear quarter one's going to be really easy. Literally just need to do the holes around the edge and screw them in, and then I'll be able to crack on with the other bits of carbon fibre that I've got to fit to this interior. Anyway, I'm going to continue this video tomorrow. I might actually just come round and finish fitting all the cards before I turn the camera on, but whatever I do decide to do, I'll see you in a sec. Hello, so it's actually been 3 days since the last clip, although I did come around here yesterday for a little while, but today I finally finished fitting the carbon fibre cards. Really happy with how these have turned out. I've got the carbon handles on now and the door opener and winder. I do need to get another winder for the driver's side, the thing's missing off it, although I might actually be getting some custom winder and door openers. The guy that's doing those for me, something's come up, so I'm gonna have to be a bit patient, but yeah, looking to get some custom ones of those. But yeah, the doors certainly look more complete now. I've also got the rear quarter cards in, and they were a bit more difficult than I was expecting. They were a tiny bit too tall, so I needed to cut them down. What I should have done really is cut them down from the top, but in my mind I was thinking, oh, if I didn't cut it dead straight it would look silly, but as they tuck underneath this blue bit of metal here, it wouldn't have mattered. So I ended up cutting them down at the bottom, and you can see that left bit where it curves, it's not exactly pretty, but it is at the bottom. And then that meant that that corner over there also needs to be cut down. I haven't done this side yet, but I have done this side. I broke a couple of drill bits doing the ones in the back, and it was a nightmare climbing in and out of there. It's not easy because of the way the seats are mounted, but yeah, I got it done. There's a little scratch on the passenger side one there at the bottom where one of the drill bits broke, and also over here, but you can hardly see it. But yeah, I'm not bothered. I'm just glad that I've managed to fit all the cards now. And yeah, as you can see, the passenger side door card is also fitted. I am going to be changing the screws. These are all various different sizes, although they are similar because, you know, I was running out. And if I'm honest, the holes that I've drilled in the car are a bit bigger than ideal, so I'm gonna have to buy some quite thick screws, but that's all right. I'm not sure whether I'm gonna get some sort of anodized silver ones or just fit black ones again. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll go for Allen head type ones or just screws like these, but yeah, I don't know. But I can change those one at a time another day. But yeah, I'm just really happy that the car looks a little bit more complete inside. Anyway, I'm going to be cracking on with fitting some more carbon fibre to the interior now, and I think it's pretty obvious what those pieces are. So I'm going to start with the dash top, and here is said carbon fibre dash top, again purchased from Gary Ball, and I've actually already spent loads of time on this getting it ready to fit. If we turn it upside down, when I got this, it didn't have the studs attached, and the way I did it is, I mean, if we compare to the old one, this is also a pattern dash top. It's a fiberglass one that's been covered with a similar material to the original one, and this one had sort of lumps of fiberglass here for the studs to attach to. So I decided to use expanding foam, and you'll see there's a couple of blobs of expanding foam still exposed here. So I put a big blob of expanding foam roughly where the studs needed to be, and then I cut it down so that it was just as thick as these bits of fiberglass. And then I brought the dash round here to the garage, laid it in the car, and then I was able to mark through the back with a Sharpie so I knew exactly where the studs needed to be. Then I took it home and I was able to cut this expanding foam down so it was smaller, and then I drilled into the expanding foam and glued these bolts in. The glue I used is, I think it's called VM100 Voodoo glue, which is exactly the same glue that Gary Ball uses to glue his carbon fibre pieces together. For example, when he glues the inner frame of a boot or bonnet to the outer skin. So yeah, once I'd glued the studs in place, I then laid over some carbon sheet. So yeah, Gary gave me a sheet of this carbon fibre, which I then laid over the studs and used loads of the glue, and you know, the carbon fibre sheet has gone further than the blob of expanding foam was. So yeah, those studs are in there nice and strong, although there is a bit of movement because it's got expanding foam under there, but they're certainly not going to pull out or come out when you're doing the nuts up. Now admittedly, I did run out of the glue before I finished the job, and I didn't want to wait for another lump to get sent to me because you can only really order it online. But when I was doing some research on the internet, it turns out that the CT1 building sealant that I've been using on various things lately, on the website it says that it is able to be used to glue carbon fibre and fiberglass together. So I decided to finish the job with that stuff. And once I'd glued on the carbon fibre sheet, I actually just smeared a load of the CT1 over all of it, so you literally can't even see that there's carbon fibre there. You can just see the layer of CT1. But the dash is now ready to fit. I did make a bit of a mistake. I don't know how I've gone so wrong, but it's fine. I went round and I enlarged all the holes where the studs go through the dash. In fact, over this side on the original dash, it just has a tab here and here, and yeah, I just drilled that out. I actually used bigger stud bolts than what my old pattern dash had. So where I drilled those two out before for the pattern dash, I had to drill them out more for this dash. But yeah, as I say, I just went round and drilled every single one out. Loads, so there's loads of adjustment. But you'll see here, this was the original hole that I enlarged with all the others. And then when I put the dash on, I realised that that stud was literally this far wrong. So yeah, really, really inaccurate, but all the others were fine. Bit of butchery, doesn't hurt, it's going to be hidden by the dash anyway. Now you may be wondering why I've got these two blobs of expanding foam that haven't got a stud on it or anything, and they are still quite big, and I haven't covered them with carbon fibre sheet. And these are basically where I need to attach these clips for the actual 6 style dash to screw in. So once I've actually got this dash in place, I can then hold the 6 style dash up in its place and then mark through those holes so I can see exactly where the screws need to be on here. And then what I'll probably end up doing is just gluing this clip or these clips in place, and then the 6 style dash will be able to be screwed in as well. But yeah, in terms of fitting this, it is literally a case chucking it on the dash. Like that. And then there's some nuts to attach underneath on those studs. I don't actually think I'm going to screw it all the way in because, like I say, I need to take it out again to attach those clips for the 6-dial dash. I probably should at least bolt these 3 in and then hold the 6-dial dash up, but I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to hold it in place. I'm going to mark it, and I can already see that the expanding foam needs to be shaved down probably about 5 mil while I'm doing what I'm doing. But yeah, for now I just need to know exactly where the hole in that clip needs to be. So yeah, let's see if I can get a mark on those bits of expanding foam where those clips need to be. And there we go, that's where the clips need to be. Let's make that one a bit more clear. So I think I'll take this home, I'll finish it later rather than wasting time around here. But for now we'll lean that back on there, because it just looks so cool. Man, I love carbon fibre. Right, next up, you've guessed it, we're going to be putting a carbon fibre switch panel to replace the alloy one that was fitted before. So there is the old alloy switch panel, and here is the new carbon fibre one. It's exactly the same design as the one that I recently fitted to Maud, my Mk1 Escort. Basically attaches to the car exactly the same as the alloy one, although this one is a bit longer, so where it mounts on the tunnel is a bit further back than the alloy one was. You can see the holes for the alloy one there. So yeah, I need to drill some new holes, but that's not a problem at all. I think before I actually worry about mounting it in the car, I'm going to deal with drilling all the holes in it for the switches, and I'm basically just going to copy the way that I did it in the alloy one, I think. So let's crack on with that. This one, unlike the one that's fitted to Maud, has got this extra bit of carbon on the back, just to strengthen it, make it a little bit less flimsy. Straight through with this big boy now. Bit wonky, this one's up, this one's down, this one's up, this one's down. Still a little bit too small, so you can adjust the holes as we go. We'll go and see if this thick bit here is going to stop the switches being able to be poked through enough. Oh, it's actually a bit of foam in between the 2 layers of carbon. So as it turns out, the switches are long enough, you know, to poke through there and maybe able to get the nut on. I've actually put this push button switch in already. Let's drill a hole for the cigarette lighter now. Alright, so cigarette lighter thing might actually be interfered with by this thick stuff on the back. There you go, it slots in now. It's just going to be a case of drilling a few holes and screwing it in. Snap to drill bit. To be honest, the angle of this isn't ideal, so I might not actually be able to screw that down. Maybe I'll have to put something underneath here, maybe some rubber or something, because yeah, if I was to screw that down and try and get rid of this gap, that would probably crack, because the tunnel's a bit curved there, but this is flat. And now I think I'll bungle the switches in, and then hopefully before I need to leave here to go and pick Kat up, we'll be able to cue the music and get some fancy shots of the new carbon interior. So there you go. It took way longer than expected, but I finally fitted the interior carbon fibre pieces, Absolutely love how they look. I've always wanted a carbon fibre interior. Still need to finish some bits up. Got to choose what screws I'm going to be using, you know, finally. Need to either get a new one of these or get some custom winders and openers. As I've mentioned, might have to rethink how this handle's attached, but it does feel quite solid. Yeah, still need to finalise bolting the bottom of this switch panel in. Still need to put a couple of spare switches in there just so that it looks more busy. I've actually got another couple of bits I'm going to be fitting to this switch panel soon. I'll talk about that another time. I don't think I mentioned earlier that when I was messing about with this dash at home, I have actually put a tiny little crack in the lacquer there. There's another bit up there as well, which you obviously can't see, but I'm not really worried about it. If it really bothers me, I'll be able to brush some lacquer on there and polish it off. As I've already mentioned, I do need to finalise the clips on these bits so that the 6-dial dash can be screwed in. Might not actually be screwing this 6-dial dash in, but we'll talk about that in another video. Loving the fact that I can now see some proper pre-preg carbon fibre from inside the cockpit. Now, those who have been watching my videos a long while remember that I've actually got a billet heater control surround bit, like what the twin cams have, which will be fitted to here. I actually don't have any heater controls on my heater box. Yeah, so plenty more to do in here. I've actually got a piece across here. I'll show you now. So this piece here, which is actually stainless. Now I'm wondering, should I send this to Gary and get him to make a mould from it so I can have even more carbon fibre on the dash? Yeah, let me know what you think. Do we think it'd be cool if we have carbon fibre along here as well? I certainly think it would look cool. And yeah, with the billet piece on there as well. I do need to decide whether I'm going to mount this on the side of the switch panel like I did with the alloy one or not. That's why I haven't cut that out yet, because once you've cut it out there's no going back. But I probably will mount it there, to be honest. Probably would be better if I get a cover for it though, so it looks a bit neater. And I still need to hook up the heater pipes which lead up to these things. So yeah, as I say, this has taken me way longer than I expected and there's still more to do, but it's definitely about time I uploaded another video. So I'm going to end this video here. I need to pack up and go and pick up my girlfriend from work. So if you thought this video was any good, please do give it a thumbs up and a share. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Click subscribe to keep up to date with all my future uploads, and check the links in the description to my social media and my website. I'll also leave a link to my Patreon down there for any of you guys that want to jump on that. Massive thanks to all my patrons. As usual, I really appreciate your support. I'll also leave my email address in the description for anyone who wants to contact me. But other than that, until next time, thanks for watching.